This is my 2019 mock draft for the Houston Texans. The notable free agency additions that the Texans brought in were Deshaun Gibson, Bradley Roby, Breon Body Calhoun, Darren Fells, AJ McCarron, and Matt Khalil. All of these guys are all on a one-year deal except for Deshaun Gibson, who's on a 3-year deal. So most of these guys are not going to be the long-term option and could be gone by next offseason. The notable free agency losses were Tyrann Mathieu and Kareem Jackson. Tyrann Mathieu just did not play at the All-Pro level that the Texans would have expected, and they let him go. Kareem Jackson was not very good in coverage, but was an exceptional run defender, and the Texans just felt like they needed to get younger at the cornerback position, so he was let go as well. The positions of need that the Texans need to draft are offensive tackle, cornerback, guard, tight end, wide receiver, running back, defensive interior, and safety. The O-line is obviously one of the biggest needs for the Texans because Deshaun Watson got sacked the most times in the NFL last year, had one of the worst offensive lines, and they just need to get better around that position because if Deshaun Watson is taking all these hits, he could get injured, and he would have to do more outside of the pocket and throw him off balance, which is just not what you need your quarterback to do. Cornerback, we need to get younger at position. We need to get someone that can cover T.Y. Hilton, that can actually cover people in the division. So, tight end, we could use a tight end. We did draft 2 tight ends last year, and we did bring in Darren Fells in free agency. But we could use an upgrade. Wide receiver, we really desperately need another receiver because Kiki, QT, and Will Fuller get injured with a hamstring every other week, and we need someone there to back them up, to come in and be reliable whenever they get injured. Running back, we could use another running back because Lamar Miller is on the last year of his deal, and Deontay Foreman has not showed us really anything that he can be a starting running back besides the Arizona Cardinals game his rookie year. Defensive interior, could use a rotational guy there and maybe find a long-term starter there. Safety, just depth because Hall retired. With the first pick, I have the Texans going with Dalton Risner out of Kansas State. Dalton Risner was one of the best offensive linemen last year. His PFF grade was a 90.3, 40-yard dash time, 5.3, 3-cone, 7.69, 20-yard shuttle, 4.52, bench press, 23 reps. Those are his combine numbers. He played multiple positions at Kansas State. He played left tackle, right tackle, guard, and center. So he has really good experience at playing multiple positions, which the Texans could use him anywhere. And the Texans do like versatility on the offensive line, so he would make a lot of sense for them there. PFF also, over the last 4 years, has given him the highest grade of any offensive lineman with a 92.5. So he showed consistency all throughout his career playing those multiple positions. Now he did struggle with some guys who had some speed, but he was really good. I didn't think he allowed a sack all last season. He didn't play the best competition, obviously, because he plays in the Big Ten, which could fluctuate how well he did play, but you still got to take him. You got to take a shot on him because he was one of the best offensive tackles last year. But what impresses me the most with him is out of true pass blocking sets, which true pass blocking sets are defined as plays with 4+ pass rushers, the quarterback dropping 7 yards, no play action or screens, and at least 2 seconds before the ball is thrown. So really NFL-like pass blocking snaps. He had the best PFF grade with a 91.6 out of any offensive tackle in this draft class. He's extremely underrated and could be here at 23 for the Texans, and that's who I think they should pick. Now going into the second round, I have the Texans picking David Long, cornerback out of Michigan State. He had an 81.4 PFF grade, 40-yard dash is a 4.45, 3-cone is a 6.45, 20-yard shuttle, 397. Vertical jump, 39.5 inches. And his height is 5'11". David Long is an extremely good man coverage corner. And obviously you can see with the speed and the change of direction that he would be. The one concern is he's 5'11", and he is a little bit grabby. So he would get called a bunch of penalties because he would grab too much, which is a problem in the NFL because usually in college they kind of let you get away with it more, but in the NFL, you know, all the extra grabbing he's going to get called on. He was very good in press coverage. He does often let the receivers get inside of him too much, but he has some of the most exceptional stats you'll ever see. He allowed less than 10 receptions over the last 2 years, primarily playing man coverage. He only allowed 42 yards last season, and in 2018 he allowed a reception every 33 snaps. So every 33 snaps he's on the field, he allowed a reception. That is pretty impressive, and I think the Texans should take him because he would be a great man coverage corner and would be a starter day one. Now, with the Texans' second round pick, I have them going with Jay Sternberger out of A&M. His PFF grade was an 85.1. His 40-yard dash time was a 4.75. 3 cone 7.19. 20-yard shuttle was a 4.3. 17 bench press reps with a vertical jump of 31.5 inches and a height of 6'4". Jay Sternberger was a really good. Jay Sternberger is a really good tight end that can break coverages down the field, and he was really good for Texas A&M last season. The one thing that I liked about him was he was really reliable for Texas A&M. Whenever he needed to get open, he was open. He was always the guy. He didn't drop many passes. He was a JUCO transfer, so he worked really hard to get to Texas A&M, and I just think the Texans should go with him. And if you really want to see like how well Jay Sternberger plays for yourself, I would say watch him play LSU when they went to 7 overtimes. He was making catch after catch after catch. It was extremely reliable for them and was a big part in their win. Now with the Texans' third round pick, 86 overall, I have them going with Michael Dieter, guard out of Wisconsin. Had an 82.2 PFF grade. His 40-yard dash time was a 5.23. 3 cone 7.88. 20-yard dash was a 4.8, and then 21 bench press reps. Michael Dieter played multiple positions like Dalton Reisner at Wisconsin. He played guard and tackle, and which is what the Texans really covet. Once again, like I'm saying again, they really coveted guys that could play multiple positions because if injuries do happen, they like that there. And Michael Dieter should come in right away, probably start at right guard or maybe even right tackle for the Texans. So I think he would be a really good pick right here. Now with the 5th round pick, I have the Texans going with Devin Singletary out of Florida Atlantic. He had an 88.1 PFF grade. He does not have very good speed as his 40 time is a 4.66, which is not very good. He didn't have a very good combine, but he is super impressive. Devin Singletary forced 94 missed tackles last year and 197 over the last 2 years. So he's just making guys miss, trucking them over, juking them, everything he can, which is really important at the running back position, especially with the Texans. We have a bad offensive line. So if he gets hit in the backfield, he can break off the tackle and then make a play out of it, which is really important. When you have a bad offensive line, you always want a running back that can break a bunch of tackles. He had 1,027 yards after contact last season. He also had 42 runs of 10-plus yards. So that 4.66 speed, I wouldn't say worry about it because he did have 42 plays of 10-plus yards. So with the next pick, I have the Texans selecting Hunter Renfrow. Hunter Renfrow caught the game-winning touchdown pass from Deshaun Watson. Was extremely reliable for Deshaun. He never drops anything. He does not have the best 40 time, but if you look at his 3 cone and his 20-yard shuttle, Those are really great times. He has really great movement skills. He's a really great route runner. He's consistently open and never injured. So he could come in on third downs for the Texans if they needed him. If Kiki was to get injured, he could come play in the slot. If Will Fuller was to get injured, maybe he could play outside. So just another target for the Texans to add depth. And it gives Deshaun Watson someone who he's familiar with. And it will help him get more comfortable. Now, with the 7th round pick and the Texans' very last pick, I've been taking Brian Peavy, cornerback out of Iowa State. He had a 90.3 PFF grade, and he did not attend the combine. He did not get a combine invite, which is really disappointing because he was the best corner in the Big Ten. If you watch him, he's locking down guys that are 5 feet taller than him. I mean, he's super short, and he's the best corner in the Big Ten. And the Big Ten, they play all offense. They have some of the most explosive offenses, have really great receivers, really great quarterbacks, a bunch of air raid systems. And for him to be the best corner in the Big Ten says a lot. He also played last season through a torn pec muscle, and which is really hard because when he's trying to break the pass and trying to get the ball out of people's hands, that is extremely hard with a torn pec muscle. And he did that very well all last season. So I would take him. He's also extremely underrated, but I feel like he could be the Texans' slot corner this season or maybe next season. But that's it. That's my Texans 7-round mock draft.